I feel like the color is already fading. I don't know. I know that, when I first did it, I thought it was going to be like really bright and saturated and like this hot pink, and it ended up being like a soft baby pink, which is fine, but I feel like it's fading already. It didn't last. I mean, it's not even a week. Or I guess technically it's a week. Boo. Anyway, hi everyone. Today's Saturday, and I just wanted to do another quick update. If you did your workout with me yesterday, which you should have, you know that we were getting back to it after being a little sick all week, and we skipped Monday's workout because we were trying to recover, and we're trying to be responsible with this whole health journey. And my legs are sore today. Damn. Like, I know that when you haven't worked out in a while and then you work out again, like you get that soreness in your muscles, but this is sore. Like my inner thighs and like, I don't know, all different kinds of parts in my legs, they're just so sore. And it was only like, we only skipped one workout. Like, I know that if it's been a while, it makes sense, but I didn't realize that, skipping one workout would be enough for that to happen. So goes to show that, the workouts are good. I haven't really felt that soreness since we started. So interesting to know. I'm still getting over my cold, mostly like a little lingering cough and a little congestion, really, mostly. Not really a cough, but just the congestion makes me cough a little bit. But my throat is good, and so far so good. Yesterday, as I told you guys, I made the bone broth, and it just turned out so much better. It turned out so much better than the first time. I think because the first time I was only using one kind of bones, of pork bones, so it was kind of like the, I don't even know what kind of bones those are. I guess it's about like maybe in the back, maybe yeah, I don't know. But this time I used bones, I guess, from the, what do you call that? The spinal cord. But I also used muscles from like the shoulder, and I used pig feet, so some trotters in there, and those are very gelatinous and have a lot of goodies. That's kind of gross, but at the same time, good. I don't know. But I was able to start it earlier, so it cooked for like 14 hours. And I took a little video, so I'll show you this. And yeah, it had more of that, the right color for like real tonkatsu broth. So it's that sort of like creamy white look. And so, yeah. And so today for lunch, I made some ramen using it. I don't want to use it all because, like I could have used only that to make the ramen, but I didn't really want to use all of it because use all of it or use the entire broth or use that bone broth as the entire broth. I just sort of used it as a starting base for it because, it takes a long time, and I do want to use it for this coming week that we're getting back into our more focused nutrition. I'm not going to call it a diet because we're not doing that. I mean, I guess technically everything is a diet, just a way of eating. But we're going to get back to like counting our macros and being a little more intentional, I guess is the right word. We're being a little more intentional with our nutrition this week. And again, it takes a little bit of preparation, and that's why I wanted to. So having this is probably going to help, because I've been thinking about, like, I seem to be okay, like, spending the time to make lunch, but then dinner comes around just a few hours later, and I'm like, I need something easier that is not as repetitive, or that is not repeating lunch every single day. But I don't know. I feel like at the end of the day, I'm going to have to repeat a lot of meals. It's just going to have to happen. We're going to have to repeat some meals. And so I've been thinking that I would probably be okay with some kind of, like, having like a more substantial lunch, and then for dinner, just go with something a little bit lighter, some nuts, some seeds, some broth, So I'm thinking, we get some bone broth that has good fats, good protein, tons of protein. And then if we add a little bit of like maybe some of that pea protein, some of that collagen that we got, maybe a little olive oil. I don't know that. No, actually, I probably would. But like, it's like a lower carb or like basically no carb, but very nutritious, good proteins, good fats. I don't know. That's my thought. That's my thought process for what's coming this week. And that's why I wanted to, make a ton of it. So last time that we made the bone broth, I think I only bought like 3 kilos of bones. And this time I went for almost 8. And I used both pots. I have two, luckily I have 2 big pots here. And so I was able to do, half and half, split the bones, and it was perfect. And so we made a ton of it, and it's good because I want to be able to have it, be able to have it at hand and be able to use it. And it's just, it's so delicious, and it's a good base for the stuff that we're trying to do in some of the meals and just we're going to be focusing on more of those whole foods in general, but it's good to have some of those building blocks like we've talked about before. But other than that, I keep trying to figure out like how are we going to move forward with this in a way that is going to be a little more enjoyable for all of us. And I keep trying to figure out a way to make it a little more dynamic and have you guys be a little more involved. Keep thinking about that. And there are like little things that I'm thinking about that I would like to do as a way to, improve my motivation and my commitment to it, but also for you guys, something that would be fun to do. And I keep thinking about it. So I think that I finally came up with an initial concept for it that hopefully is going to be helpful for you guys, but also helpful for me. And so I will not be unveiling that today because I got to keep you on your toes. But yeah, just I get an idea, and then I have to figure out if logistically is doable. What the process is like, what we need to do in order to make it happen. So that's kind of partially what I've been thinking about this week. As I've spent more time focusing on some of those aspects. Trying to do this, but again, I'm changing the format a little bit. I'm trying to figure out how to be more mindful in terms of doing this. I felt that in the last few weeks, the videos were a little stale, and I was focusing on the food, which is very important, but I was neglecting other aspects of it. And the problem is that if you don't have that muscle memory for doing this, there's a lot of friction. Maybe not for some people who are maybe a little more social media savvy, but I literally don't use Instagram. I haven't used Facebook in years. I don't use TikTok. I've never even had a Snapchat, and just not very, I don't, like, my sister's probably better at this, like she's got more of that muscle memory, I guess I'm calling it. Like there's no friction of like pulling out her phone and doing like an Instagram story or, that kind of stuff. And I'm just terrible at it. I don't have it in me. I've never had that I've never been social media savvy. And so it takes a little while for me to get comfortable with the process. And that's why I've been trying out this a little more. And seeing like how I'm going to be able to bring you guys in. It's so difficult to think about like the concept of something, and you think about the concept in vague terms, and then executing that idea that you have is so hard. It's so tricky. It's so difficult. So I've been spending some time thinking about that, thinking about the aspect of it. But I want there to be, like we talked about over the last few videos. I want there to be a little more accountability in terms of the metrics that we're measuring. I think it would be really good for me to see that, and the added what's the word? The added motivation of knowing that I'm showing you guys, and hopefully that would be something that's helpful for you guys to be able to see and sort of correlate like what things I'm doing and how they're affecting those metrics and that kind of stuff. And so, but again, like one thing is to think about it, and the other thing is like, how will I actually do it? What does the process actually look like? What are the mechanics? What are the systems that are going to help me do this without taking my entire day? Because I'm a big procrastinator, and some of you guys are artists as well. I know you've told me in the comments. And so you guys know we procrastinate. It's very easy to procrastinate and to, get stuck in the details and not actually do anything. And so if left to my own devices, I would spend all day, every day just tinkering and like, oh, I could do this, I could do that. And so in order for me to be able to do this without neglecting all my other obligations, then I have to be able to come up with like a little system, with a system, a way of doing this so that it's both helpful, it's enjoyable for everyone involved, and then at the same time that it's done in a reasonable amount of time, so I don't spend all my time just focusing on this one thing. And so that has taken some time to think about and to prepare. And it's not going to be perfect, obviously, when we launch it this coming, I guess Monday. I still don't know. I still, as soon as I'm done with this, I need to go back and do a little more work on it and figuring out like what the next steps are and everything. But it is all about figuring out a system, like with everything else in life. Need to figure out a system to put this into place, to put this in motion, so that we keep finding ways to motivate ourselves to keep doing this, to make it enjoyable and make it fun, because it has a much higher chance of sticking and for us to be successful if we're actually enjoying the process. Not that it won't be difficult, it will be, but there has to be a measure of enjoyment in there. And I was talking to Laura last night. You guys remember Laura from that video we had, and a few weeks back when I was still in the U.S. And we talked quite a bit about this, and she mentioned the importance of having a shift in perspective, and I think that's really going to help to put things into a different perspective. In terms of doing the videos, but also doing the actual work, doing the actual health, changing the habits and all of that stuff, and just sort of reframing it in a way that feels more, I guess, approaching it from a place of curiosity and sort of openness to change and to explore how we're feeling about it, as opposed to being more resistant to change and being a little more reluctant to be open to the process. I don't know if that makes any sense. It sounds very philosophical, but it makes sense in my head. Just how you approach it and your perspective towards it. And it really comes from a place inside where you're purposely making that decision. But we've talked about this. It's hard. It's hard to be aware, so much of the time, because our brains want to be working sort of on automatic and not make that much effort, because it takes effort, and so that's tricky. But I feel like if we can make that, put in the effort to make it like a daily thing, start developing that habit, and develop, I guess the habit is the right, getting into the habit of being a little more mindful as it comes to doing all of these things, and not just making the decisions that we have to make, but paying attention to when bad thoughts or not necessarily bad, but when impulses come up, and making sure that we're not giving into that. So it's something that I want to explore a lot more with you guys in the coming weeks as we get back into a more purposeful approach to health and weight loss and all this stuff that we've been talking about for the last few days. And so, yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But I'm glad to have some of that bone broth. I made some ramen with it today for lunch, and oh man, that was good. And it was really good. It was really good. I think that trying to do that bone broth without the pig trotters is just not the same. Having the pig feet really adds like a whole new level to it. So let's leave it at that for now. We'll talk a little bit more tomorrow. I got on the scale today. And as we talked about last week when I introduced this project, and this week that just went by, that was not exactly what we were hoping for. We thought we'd be more fully on board with all of our processes and things. And it wasn't, because I got sick at the beginning of the week and sort of derailed the whole thing. But the average target weight for this week was 310, and I finally got on the scale this morning and I was 310.4. So I have put on a little bit of weight, which makes sense. I haven't been as careful or as mindful of my nutrition this week. But I don't know, if maybe tomorrow I'm not, I'll try to get on the scale tomorrow. If it's not too high, then maybe we can bring the average down, or if not, then we'll bring it up. But it's just the first week. That's the beauty of this. We get a long time to continue doing course corrections and be successful in the end. So we'll see what happens. We keep going. This is just the beginning. Again, thank you guys for being here with me. Exciting things are coming. See you tomorrow.